Alrighty, how we doing, my Raven fans, Oriole fans? Raven Sports Podcast here, live. We're trying live stuff for a couple reasons. One, my life has been a little busy here, so to do it and record it, so doing live, and I think you get more people when they're doing live. I think more people show up and then it's live, and then they get pushed more live. So I think we're going to try it out. So absolutely been enjoying it. Thank you very much for joining us here, Bravery Sports Podcast. Like and subscribe to all of our social media content. Genesis Notary Services / Facebook. If you live in the Shenandoah Valley area, notary business here. Definitely, if you need anything as far as a notary service, we can do it for you. Definitely any court documents, legal document, well, not all court documents, but definitely any legal documents that you have, uh, living medical docs, anything like that, we can go ahead and do that for you. Genesis Notary Services / Facebook. You can go on there and book the appointment live on Facebook, right there. Also, too, you can go to Google. Definitely go Google my business at Winchester, Virginia. You can Google my business at Genesis Notary Services, Winchester, Virginia. So definitely check that out. RaverySports.company.site. You can check out this Lamar jersey that I'm wearing right now. So definitely you can get jerseys, hats, and everything. Man, you guys are picky about jerseys. Like, I'm finding that out throughout the years that like you guys already have jerseys. Hey man, you have a gold one. Well, the goal was they just started wearing. It takes some time, but that's the thing. Request it, okay? So definitely send me an email at raverysports@gmail.com. So definitely, you can go ahead and get that on there. I am on Facebook as well with jerseys and hats if you want it. So put in my name, Charles Harris, and go to Raver. Put in also Ravery Sports, and it'll come up on Facebook Marketplace where you can buy the jerseys right on the website as well. If you live close enough, I can even show up in person as well. If you live in Winchester or Baltimore, definitely I can go ahead and get that done for you. See, Charles Harris, we are LegalShield.com. That is the website. So legal services, man, the value of Legal Shield, I can't say enough about it. Can't say enough about it. Had a thing where I was using it myself, giving them a call. You have a legal issue, you could talk to them right over the phone. If you have that Legal Shield membership, they'll go over your legal issue right there over the phone with you immediately. You just have to wait a few minutes. You don't have to pay a lot of money for that. They'll go ahead and get it squared away. The value of it, I'm telling you, it's just fantastic for Legal Shield as well. And best of 2024 is going to be on New Year's Eve. So definitely, we're going to do it a little earlier in the day, not quite as late in the day, but the best of 2024 here on New Year's Eve. Best of Baltimore sports, best Raven, best Oriole, best Terp, best play. We're going to do it all on New Year's Eve there for that stream. Let's get to it. Bye week over, back to business. We got a game, Ravens and the Giants, the rematch of the 2000 Super Bowl. Showed that this week the greatest defense of all time, the Ravens and the Giants going at it this week. Giants, yeah, not very good. 2-11 in pace right now for Jador Sanders. They're on the clock, the number one pick in the draft. Ravens still obviously at 8-5, fighting for playoff position. Not quite as good of a record as they had last year. Very, very strange last 4 weeks. Game obviously Sunday. This might be the last Sunday game of the whole season. Next week game is on Saturday against Pittsburgh. Then you're going to actually go to Texans, play a very, very, very rare Wednesday game in Houston. And then the last game you have after that, you have a Wednesday game, and then you're playing not until the next weekend of that. So you may have 11 days off in between these quick little games, spur to games 3. So interesting to see what happens here. All right, Ravens. Lamar Jackson, fantastic all year. 300, 3290 as far as passing yards, 99 rating on Madden, 29 TDs, 3 interceptions. Lamar's been terrific all season long. I think he's been carrying them. I definitely the offensive line has not played well. Obviously, a lot more talk for whatever reason this week. I think because of the bye of the offensive line. I think the line's been terrible all season. Like on the right side, Rosengarten has improved. I think as the season has went on, he's a good run blocker. His pass blocking needs a lot of work. He really has had trouble with just more standard pass blocking. He can kind of do zone blocking and things like that, but he's gotten better. Falele's been a train wreck all season. I mean, there's no other way to slice that. Terrible. Um, I, I don't know why Harbaugh is being coach John Harbaugh is being so stubborn playing him over Ben Cleveland. It makes absolutely no sense to me. I don't understand it. McCary struggled more lately as well. Lots of flags he's been getting. Also, to uh, like Ronnie Stanley and Linderbaum have been terrific. I think they've been really good. I mean, they've definitely been the best offensive lineman all season. But Lamar, back to Lamar, in spite of that, has been fantastic. I think definitely still in the MVP conversation as well. Not really in front right now, I would say, but definitely outstanding Lamar. Lamar's not the reason they're losing. Last game, not as great though. Derrick Henry, 240 as far as carries, 1407 as far as yards, 13 touchdowns for D. Henry. Henry cut his locks. I don't know why anybody cares about his hair. Who cares? He's still like the. I think this guy is the most dominant force at the running back position. He's still maybe not 2,000 yards. I mean, based on the last two games, I mean, he still has a shot at it for sure. But he's got like 4 games to get like 500 some yards. I definitely think he could do it. 13 touchdowns. Still, I think it's going to be a huge mess for anybody to try and tackle Derrick Henry and do anything with Derrick Henry down the stretch. Got a late break rest. That's good. Zay Flowers, almost at 1,000 yards, 16 touch, 60 catches, 863 yards. I think Flowers. I think there might not be anybody else in the league who has emerged from his first to the second year as much as Flowers. Polishing in his routes, definitely running away from guys. Now calling, so the video I saw on Twitter, calling for the football now, being more vocal. So that's all good. So he's growing up right before us. Zay Flowers, I think, has been terrific as well. Borderline Pro Bowl. I don't know if he makes Pro Bowl. A lot of good receivers. Kyle Hamilton has been fantastic on defense all year long. 88 tackles. The Swiss Army knife. I think he's only even gotten better with the change from Marcus Williams to Darius Washington there. So now I think he's given him more freedom. No deferring more to a vet. He's definitely, to me, definitely looks like the captain of things back there. A little less with Ladarius, I know, of the Swiss Army knife, a little bit more traditional safety, but I think been very good. Kyle Hamilton has worked out. Just found this out. Tommy DeVito. All right, pasta. He's definitely Italian, and he's definitely going to be the starting quarterback. Drew Lock, Daniel Jones no longer on the team. Drew Lock in a boot. So it's Tommy DeVito is going to start for the Giants in this as well. Giants have no quarterbacking offense all season long. All 3 guys have been awful. Daniel Jones, I think, better than I think the other 2 there. Drew Lock, I think, really bad. Tommy DeVito, I think, you're not going to see a lot of downfield stuff. I know why they're playing him, a lot of dink dunk at least with him as well. I do think you do have a decent enough back here, Tyrone Tracy. 125, 619, kind of took the starting job, took most of the carries at least from Devil Singleton, who's playing with them. He was supposed to be the replacement for Saquon Barkley. Decent enough. I think he's a solid back in between the tackles as well. There is hope with Malik Neighbors. I think Malik Neighbors is fantastic this year. Definitely a number 1 receiver, not even developing or anything like that. Tremendous body control. Kind of reminds me when I see him of Larry Fitzgerald. The way that's not being too hyperbolic. Great body control, great hands, great catch radius. He's going to give the receipt. He's going to give the corner whoever's on him a lot of trouble. But absolutely, you double team neighbors on this team with the issues they're having. What they do have that concerns me on their side is Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence is, I think, one of the best defensive players in the NFL. Certainly one of the best defensive players. The Giants defensively aren't terrible. Dexter Lawrence is there. They just got Keon Thibodeau back. They got Brian Burns there as well. So they actually have some guys there on defense as well. So the problem has been you're not scoring any points. So that's why you can't actually sustain defense and why the defensive ranking is not as high as I think it would be as well. Bobby O'Kirk, I think, is questionable this week for them. Drew Phillips, etc., might be questionable. Deontay Banks, former Terp. So they have some guys on defense. I think they can give the Ravens some trouble defensively there. But I think this is the straw that stirs the drink right there. Dexter Lawrence rather is fantastic. X Factor. Stand up in front of your TV if you're going to game for Justin Tucker. Let's encourage him. Let's see if we can get him going. They're going to stick with him. I wouldn't have stick with him, but yeah, that I wouldn't stick with him. But I think they're going to go ahead and they're going to stick with Justin Tucker. So he's missed more field goals. Say hi, True. They missed more field goals. He's missed more field goals than anybody in the league. That's almost crazy to say about the GOAT, Justin Tucker, who probably holds the record, who absolutely holds the record for the longest field goal in NFL history. No longer the highest percentage, but they're going to need him. They're going to need Tucker to look like Tucker down the stretch. So good news of hearing him. He's working at it out there. Had a rainy day in Baltimore in practice. They practice inside. Justin Tucker's outside kicking wet footballs. Love to hear that. Great work ethic from the GOAT. X Factor, Nate Wiggins. Let's see if he can become a starter level. You got a great rookie on the other side. He's familiar playing against Malik Neighbors. So let's see how well he does going against that. They're going to certainly rotate on him, give double coverage to Neighbors. But I think Wiggins might be a guy they're targeting as well. They have been giving more snaps, I know, to Tre'Davious White. That's been interesting as well. More snaps to him, more snaps to Wiggins. So I think they're kind of splitting up Brandon Stevens' snaps because he hasn't been playing quite as well. Stevens has great coverage. It's trouble finding the ball. Nate Wiggins, I think, has good coverage. Doesn't always play with discipline. Kind of like gets out of balance. Kind of like a young Marcus Peters. Like that's kind of who he reminds me of. I think the Ravens win this game pretty handily. I think 35-13, something like that. They should be able to score. I think they have had slow starts. They may get a slow start. The Giants have a good defense, but I don't believe they are going to have any issues against the Giants, who are on the clock. We're probably waiting for Deion Sanders the Shore to actually start in the league right now. There you go. So, what should happen? I think the Ravens are definitely the biggest concern I have with this one is they're so bad, the record's so bad that you overlook a team like this. So you're 8-5, you're 2-11. It's like everybody's penciling you in for a win, and you can't get a win in this one. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you don't overlook a team like this, that you don't go past them as well. All right. So this is our last. All right. That's the big five. Five biggest games on the schedule that are not Ravens games this week. So let's go over the NFL Week 14 games that we covered last week as far as the big five. as well. As soon as the game ended in Kansas City, I was going to think, man, they're going to say, here come the conspiracy theories when he hit the field goal and then doinked off and everything like that. I don't think there's any great conspiracy theories in Kansas City. Kansas City, I'm giving it heat. I'm giving Mahomes some more heat. They are not moving the ball well at all. Defense is keeping them in games. They're moving it very incrementally. There's almost nothing downfield. Their tackles are looking worse. They played another tackle, DJ Humphrey, at tackle. So there's some issues for them on offense. But defensively, they've been very good. I think they, as much as they get credit for being good situation in offense, they're really good situationally on defense. Falcons and the Vikings. Vikings aren't any joke, man. I mean, this is a team, man. They're every week getting 40 points, 30 points. They're scoring. Darnold, I think, is really moving towards an extension the way he's played, as much as that sounds. So even though you drafted JJ McCarthy, I definitely think you're looking at a guy, Sam Darnold, who's been outstanding for them. Falcons, I think, kind of are what they thought they were. I think Falcons, they're a good team, but I think they're in a bad division. I don't know if they're going to hang on and beat Tampa Bay. I think they should, because the schedule's so bad, so easy. They should go ahead and hang on. Seahawks starting to separate themselves from the Cardinals and the rest of that division. They're ahead 7-5. Kyler Murray, 2 INTs, not consistent enough. Not consistent enough. I think that's a real tragedy with his athletic ability at times. Uh, Not consistent enough. I think that's probably what's costing it. I think they slipped back. Um, I think that might have been one of the best games I've ever seen last week. The Bills and the Rams, the 4 o'clock game, fantastic. I don't think any less of the Bills after the loss. I think the Rams, I will say this about the Rams, and I've noticed this. They absolutely play with discipline. Same way a lot the Patriots did. Looked it up. They do not get a lot of flags. I think they're one of the lowest team in the league consistently in penalties. Their offense and their defense is very simple. Very simple. They run the same 6 run plays and it works. They run a lot of motion, but they don't to kind of disguise it. But their offensive defensive schemes are very, very simple. They don't do a lot of odd stuff, a lot of whack, stuff like that. And the Lions, I think, sweep past the Packers in the Thursday night game. I think the Lions are the best team in the NFC as well. Packers are right there. I'm not so sure the Packers aren't good this year. I think we keep hearing the Packers maybe not quite ready for Super Bowl. That was a pretty close game on the road against a team I think that's going to win the Super Bowl. Has a shot at least winning the Super Bowl, not necessarily win the Super Bowl. And they were good. So let's go to this week's games as well. The Packers, the Thunder, field with the great starts Packers and the Seahawks. Seahawks are really rolling here lately. I think Geno Smith has really played well down the stretch. I think what's happened too with the Seahawks as well, offensively early in the year, they kind of struggled. Offensively they were pretty good. They were decent enough. But I think defensively they've really tightened up. Mike McDonald's defense really has gotten better. They only gave up 18 points last week to Arizona. I think they've been their stats, everything has been going down here lately as well. I think this is a really good team. Packers, same, equally impressed. Packers took a narrow loss as well. Romeo Dobbs, I think, is outstanding. Christian Watson, I've always liked. Just got to keep him healthy on the field. Their offensive line is solid. The run game is fantastic. Jordan Love, I don't know whether I like him or not. Sometimes I think he's really good. Obviously, I thought in the Lions game he had some good numbers. What he was what 12, 206 yards, 1 TD. They kind of taken the ball out of his hands a little bit. They kind of run the ball more with him. But I do like the Packers in this one. I do think they are had. I think they just have a better team. They're. I think they can go win a road game. I don't think the Seahawks have been better. Probably, probably the best team in the division, but this is pretty big for playoff positioning and all that. Seahawks still need to win their division, I think, as well. I think the West is going to be clustered right all the way to the end. Colts and the Broncos. This is pretty much going to be an eliminator for the Colts. I think the AFC playoff picture, we kind of know. You have in the wild card spot, you have the Ravens there, the Broncos there, and the Chargers there in that AFC wild card spot. I think the only other team I think with the shots are the Colts and the Dolphins. I think the Colts lose here. I think I don't see them catching any of those teams. They're like 2 games behind, and I think you're pretty much out of time, realistically, especially if you lose to Denver here. Um, I got nothing but good things to say about Denver. Bo Nix has been getting better week after week after week. I think defensively, I like the way they play. They kind of like what I see with the Rams that I was just talking about. I kind of see the same thing with the Denver Broncos. They kind of play with a lot of discipline. They play very smart. They don't have a lot of marquee names except for Pat Surtain, but they absolutely consistently get points, stop defenses consistently week after week. Um, weren't so good in their last game against the Browns, but they've been really really good. I do think they win this game. I think the Colts are making a mistake playing Anthony Richardson. I'm kind of at the point with him. I've seen that they should be playing Flacco, even though he didn't light up the world. I think Denver gets in the playoffs eventually, not this week, and I do think they beat the Colts at home. Very tough to play in at altitude in Denver though as well. Battle of PA, the two teams, two of the most interesting franchises in the National Football League. The Steelers, I think this is their biggest test, I think, all season long, playing the Eagles and playing the Philadelphia Eagles. Really like Philly in this one. Not because I don't like the Squealers, and I don't, but I think they're just our superior team. I keep, despite what I feel about the Steelers and not being a fan, I'm really trying to be more objective and see if I'm missing anything. Sometimes when you don't like a team or you don't like something or you don't like, sometimes what I try and do is be more objective in a way. Like, am I missing something? Their offense is just mediocre. They don't do well against a good. I do not see a scenario where their offense can keep up with this defense that Philly has. Jaden Carter up front, it's been fantastic. Jordan Davis up front. Uh, Zach Braun, the Kobe Dean has been fantastic as well. Their young corners, I think Philly, I think is really good this year. I definitely think they're fantastic. I don't see a scenario. I do think the scenario, the Steelers defense, it's really good. I don't think it's I don't think it's going to be very difficult to stop Saquon. That tush push that they run is about the most unstoppable thing I've ever seen. I think Saquon and his offense is really going. Jalen Hurts has been decent enough. I don't think Jalen Hurts is a stud quarterback, but and I don't know what's going on with him and AJ Brown with the arguing or whatever is going on, but really good stuff. I like the Eagles in this one. Tampa Bay and the Chargers. Tampa Bay, I think, is outstanding. Um, the fact that they're in the hunt, considering the circumstances they've been under, I think is really something. Baker Mayfield, I think, is one of the better reclamations in the entire National Football League in the last 15 years. Where he started, his expectations, kind of seen as a bust, had to overcome things, come back, got cut, taking his team again in playoff position. So that's something. I think the Chargers, though, I just know what they are. I know exactly what they are. Very came close to winning that game in Arrowhead last week. They do have it doesn't matter too. Also, too that Dobbins is hurt, not going to play. Gus Edwards should play. I know exactly. They probably maybe now have the best defensive offensive tackle combination in the entire league. When you talk about uh, uh, Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater. Defense, I think, is first rate. I don't think the Bucks score a lot of points, even though they have been scoring points as well. But I like the Chargers at home over Tampa. Game of the weekend, I think this could be a Super Bowl preview. I think of the big game at the end, Bills and the Lions as well in this weekend. So if you look at our channel here, our open mic for Drive to the Top Productions, I was talking about this game last night a little bit. Definitely with a Lions fan. Um, I really am not sure where to go here because I think these two teams. One thing you didn't hear me say is I'm not sure where to go here with this one. I think Josh Allen is right now just on another level, and that's the only thing that I have to kind of lean on. I think where I think the Bills do win the game. I think the Bills also too are going to be very motivated to go in and win. Just got a little inkling of that. I think Josh Allen is really going well right now. He wasn't the reason they lost last week as well. Bills defense has surprised me. They're going to have to though play better than what I saw last week defensively. They're going to have to actually go ahead and play better than what I saw last week. Big Nate Sports Talk is going with the Lions. Um, I don't think so. I don't think it's the Lions in this one. Josh Allen is the MVP of the game. I agree. I think Josh Allen, I think, is the best quarterback, not named Lamar Jackson right now in the NFL. I like the Lions in this one. I like the Bills. I think the Bills win it. I think the Lions defense has been good. I think they have been. This is a real offense here you're playing this week. This is the machine here you're playing with the Lions and the Bills this week. Be an outstanding game. Outstanding game. There you go. Big five. All right. So enjoy all the games this weekend with the Lions playing the Bills. Outstanding this weekend. All right. So there's a lot going on here this weekend. So not going to spend too much time on it, but we're going to talk a little bit about college football playoffs that are happening here as well. So this is the first year of the 12-team playoff in college football as well. That's going to start next weekend. The games are going to start on the campus sites as well. So we are going to have that there. Big elephant in the room: Alabama and SMU. No sympathy for the Crimson Tide. None at all. Crimea River with Alabama. Crimea River with this stuff that the SEC is the best conference in the in college football. That's no longer the case. Big Ten has definitely surpassed them. I think it's definitely been the case the last year. I mean, even last year, the Pac-10, I think, was better than the SEC. The SEC has two really good teams. Texas and Georgia were really good. Get the graphic up. Texas and Georgia were really good. Tennessee was pretty good. But a lot of that conference was Oklahoma not any good. Vanderbilt's never any good. A lot of those teams. You look at the Big Ten, there were four really good teams: Penn State, Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon. Outstanding. And I'm not even talking about Michigan, who was pretty good in the down year, etc. So definitely, it'll be interesting to see the first 12-team playoff as well. It's gonna be matter now. It's not just the two best teams. It's gonna matter what you do in the playoffs, what you do in the home games, etc. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the playoffs, but not quite yet. I think they pretty much got it right. SMU, the law belongs there. I thought SMU was really good. Funny enough, they almost won the ACC, and the ACC didn't even want like SMU in the conference. It's fascinating that even happened. Uh, they SEC's not SMU's not even taking a share of the money. They just wanted to be out of the conference in a major conference, and ACC was available. So good for them. SMU in the playoff as well. I like Oregon to win the whole thing. I think Oregon. I think during the course of the year look like the best team. Here's another team we're going to talk about this that got shafted out of the college football playoff, the Army Black Knights. um, I'm not just saying that because I was in the Army. I think look at the record, 11-1. They won the AAC, American Athletic Conference, which people kind of forget that was a major. When it was Big East Conference, when they had football, that was used to be a major conference. But I think this is probably the most traditional. I can't remember an Army Navy game. I've talked about this the last couple of years, but just you talk about the pageantry, the tradition, the young men serving the country, the sacrifice they're making. But man, let's talk about the two of the better teams in all of college football. Midshipmen 8-3. They were they're not going to the playoffs, but I think they were ranked this year. Black Knights are 11-1. I don't think there's too many teams with a better record. This guy, unbelievable. Bryson Daly for the Black Knights. I don't know how good of an officer he's going to be once he graduates from the academy, but he certainly been outstanding at the court. Look at these numbers: 877 yards, 8 TDs to 1 interception. Very good passing. Look at the rush yards: 264 on the ground, 1,480 yards on the ground, 29 rushing TDs. He had 4 touchdowns in his last game in the conference championship. That's insane. How good he's been this year. So he's going to be, obviously, he's one of their captains for the game as well. A lot of these names, too, have been here. So considering how much better they've been. Kanye Udo, the sophomore, over 1,000 yards, 10 TDs. Not bad at all on the ground as well. So you consider, with the Black Knights, it's no surprise. You'll watch this game, not a lot of throws at all. You'll see 20 passes in the whole game for Army and Navy in this one. This guy's a phenomenal back, too. Like a lot of these guys in midshipmen, they run a lot of that triple option. Both teams run a lot of triple option. So quarterback, even though he's the tailback, he's going to be like your second option running the ball, but he's fantastic. Casey Reynolds, the senior, is the leading receiver, 18 receptions, 426 yards. This is where they're going to go when they actually throw the ball, put the ball in the air. 3 touchdowns for him. This is a guy who was a first-team All-AAC performer. Definitely a guy, not a high draft pick by any stretch, but certainly could see him in the NFL. Max D. D'Amico from, hopefully I'm saying that right, from the Army, 35 tackles, 2 interceptions. I guess a comparison I can kind of give, not to the level of a Kyle Hamilton, but you see a lot of that with him. He's got pretty good hands in the secondary as well. I think he could probably, I'm surprised he didn't actually get more interceptions, but he's more of an in-the-box guy in the middle of the field. He has great awareness when I saw him, when I see the videos of him. He's got that thing you can't teach, like that safeties, you either have that or you don't. They are aware of the thing. That's what he obviously has. Blake Horvath of Navy has been fantastic as well. A little bit more passing, 1154, 4 touchdowns to 11 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, 895 rushing on the ground, 13 TDs. These quarterbacks are top shelf. You can't do any better than these guys as far. This is why these guys are here. These guys have also been here. These are not transfers as well. Alex Testa, I think I'm saying it right. The leading rusher for the Navy as far as the running backs or fullbacks. He's fullback, 501, 7 TDs, short yardage. Everything I saw with him was like short yardage, in close, things like him. So when they can't run with Max Horvath, with Blake Horvath, they kind of hand it to this guy. He's also an excellent blocker in the run game. Nathan Kent, probably not nearly as much going to one guy. A lot of their passing is just to their tailback, a lot of short stuff as well. But Ken, I think, had 184 yards and 2 TDs here. Colin Ramos, I think, is the best defender on the field on either side. Definitely, this guy's an NFL prospect. 108 tackles. He is unquestionably the leader of the team all over the field. Definitely. Again, same with the guy from Army, D'Amico. Excellent instincts as well. He's definitely the captain of the defense. He's the guy I see all the time telling other guys what to do. Great straight ahead like this. Guys, you're not going to run him over, even with all the running in this game as well. So Colin Ramos is a guy to keep an eye out as well. I think Army wins the game. I want Army to win the game. Obviously, I always root for the Knights. Game is actually in Washington, D.C., so very close to the Navy campus, about 30 minutes from Annapolis as well, a little bit farther. Game is going to be in Baltimore, so they're getting away from Philadelphia for so many years because Philadelphia was kind of like midway point between the two schools, so they're trying out. They're going to be in New England. They're going to be in other places as well. So shout out these young men serving the country, making the sacrifice for us as well. I think this is always worth watching. I think this is the guys that are really professionals already on the next level. I think servicemen. So we're gonna get a good game though, outstanding. But I absolutely want to thank these young men for their service and everything they're doing to protect us. So outstanding. We're gonna get an outstanding football game here as well. Man, if you missed this one, Maryland and Purdue on Sunday, you missed a heck of a game. Now, I know what the score says. It was 83-78. So why we lost? Obviously, we lost. But I'm not so much a believer in life and in sports of like good loss. But there are some times where it can be a learning experience and you can be encouraged in a loss. Not a lot of times, but this was one of those times. Purdue, I think, had already lost a game earlier in the week, so they had to come back. This was the first real true road test. They played neutral site games. First real true road test. Maryland is at the level of a Purdue. I think there's still something a little ways away, but I think Purdue, I think this was a good meat and potatoes test for them. Rodney Rice, very good from the 3-point line. I mean, you definitely see that about this Terps team where Kevin Willard has got some shooters this year. It's not just they just have to rely on Jameer Young going to the hole, do all that. Rodney Rice, terrific shooter. Him and Gillespie, I think, are outstanding outside shooters. I think they handle the ball very well. They shoot the ball well. So I really like their shooters, both of those guys. I do think Rice, I think, is going to have a higher percentage simply because I think he's going to handle the ball a little bit less. He's shaking a little bit more. He was 42% in this game. He had 13 points. I thought he was really good. Derek Queen, I think, like, I saw a draft board where he was at the bottom in the first round. It ain't going to stay like that. I think people just don't know yet. 26-12, and I don't even think that was even the best game I've seen him play. But I think one thing he did add, he's been shooting well. He shoot the triple in this one, which is very impressive. This guy's got good range, good front to the basket game, excellent back to the basket game, excellent footwork on offense, great speed, handles well, complete player. I think the only thing I think he's lacking is that ability now in crunch time to really take charge. He's got to get a little bit more of the black mama in them at times. But this is the guy. I mean, there's no question about it. He's fantastic. I think Purdue definitely had a better problem. He definitely was the better of the two centers. Gillespie had 18 points, 4 assists, more ball handling from him. I think he's going to have more of that responsibility as well. But I thought he was really good offensively. Their guards are fantastic. They should play. DHS, Harris Smith, He's not going to play as much. Seton Miguel, I think, is also too. George Aramo played a lot more last year. Those two, Gillespie and Rice, I think at the start have been terrific. Fletcher Lawyer, 12 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds in this one. I don't think he was as good at shooting as he usually is. He kind of missed some free throws. I thought it was weird. I think he missed 2 free throws. I mean, he's a tremendous shooter though. But this guy, flat on the ground, uncovered, you can pretty much count it. Even but for his standards, not quite as good. And this one, Trey Hoffman-Ren. This was a great battle with him and Derek Queen in this one as well. Got off to a little bit of a slower start, but he started out great, I thought, in the second half. But he clearly wasn't the player Queen was, but he's definitely got good post moves. So they can't do everything they did with Zach Edey, but definitely he can do some of the same things. And definitely he has a lot of some of those same abilities. So I think Trey Hoffman-Ren, I thought, showed up well. I think this is a good way to keep their team in that relevant conversation as well. When you have a guy like Trey Hoffman-Ren there, but this is obviously the straw that stirs the drink. Easy for me to say. Brendan Smith handles the ball. He's in charge of what happens out there. He gets his own shot a lot. I think he looks to pass. He's getting 10 assists a game. He's looking basically for Hoffman-Ren and Lawyer, or he'll just take his own shot. I do think the only weakness with Matt Painter's group, Purdue, is I think this is about all they got as far as on offense. I think an injury to them is going to cost them more this year. They have those 3 outstanding players, but I didn't really see anything else out there to go ahead and get that. Purdue, not as good as they were, but not far. Not far. Hoffman-Ren, I think, how much better can he get? How much farther can they go with him as well? But Lawyer and Brendan Smith, I think, Brendan Smith, I think might be the best player in all the Big Ten. And that's saying something. There's a lot of good players in the Big Ten. But I think not that far from the Boilermakers. I think they're a lot to be encouraged about in College Park for sure. I think they don't have a game this week. I think they're taking finals this week, so I don't think they're playing this. I think it's the 17th as well. So, but definitely the Terps. Good reason to be encouraged with the Terps. So 83-78, the Boilermakers are successful in West Lafayette, Indiana. Outstanding game. Outstanding. I had fun watching it too. I really enjoyed watching the game. 2 really good teams played hard, and this one played well. All right, let's refresh the screen here. And see what our Corbin Burns watch. And see if he signed. So if you like me, certainly if you watch baseball and you're covering baseball, you're certainly looking to see what Burns is doing. Orioles have made some moves. We'll go over that. We'll go over MLB free agency, and especially because we're going to go over that and see what the Orioles are doing. Hey, Burns, dude, I've been hearing the Giants for Burns all night here, but I don't think anything's done yet as of this recording live, as of this live airing, rather, that we're doing right now. Let's see here, the latest. Yeah, there's nothing on Burns yet as far as that goes. So let's go over what's happened, because a lot has happened in MLB free agency here and the Orioles. So we're going to go over a list here, similar to the list I had here as far as what we thought would happen in MLB free agency as well. What's happened, what's happening as well. Orioles have been busy making moves. Let's look at a lot of the league. Kyle Higosha, I think I'm saying that right. I'm pretty sure I butchered the name. 35 years old. He went ahead and signed with the Rangers. He's going to play with Jotunheim as well. Played well last year with the Padres. He went ahead and signed with the Rangers. Travis or not, I would have had him on the list the last time I went over free agents, but I was pretty sure he was going to sign with Atlanta. He had an option, but they didn't opt in. Angels go in and sign him. So definitely he's going to go ahead and start Angels. Angels have been fairly active, not necessarily super high end free agents, but they've been fairly active. Carson Kelly, uh, I I have the Cubs. I haven't seen that official. I think that's, but I've seen it in a couple places where he's signing with the Cubs or it's imminent with the Cubs. I think that's done with the Cubs. Yeah, I keep everything I see is like nearing a deal, close to a deal with the Cubs. Everything with the Cubs. So looks like the Cubs is going to be what it is for Carson Kelly. All right, back on screen there. All right, Danny Jansen played with the Red Sox last year, signed with the Rays. Look at that. Gary Sanchez signed with the Orioles as well. I was watching. I was I was watching Pigtown and Matt stream the other night. I'm still happy how Pigtown was killing Gary Sanchez in terms of like signing with the Orioles. Gary Sanchez has a reputation, bat no glove. Very good young prospect with the Yankees organization years ago. Good bat, no glove. I think he's gotten better defensively. He can hit some home runs for you. Look, backup catchers aren't any good. Like, I don't. I'm not as hard. I would have rather have kept James McCann, honestly, in my opinion. I think that would have actually given you a better chance to sign Burns. So I kind of agree with that assessment. That you had a better chance to sign Burns. McCann obviously won't be back now. He's definitely going to look for another team. He is still out there. First base, nothing has happened yet. Pete Alonso is still out there, probably not going back to the Mets. Christian Walker probably not going back to the D-backs. Paul Goldsmith probably not going back to the Cardinals. Carlos Santana probably not going back to the Twins. And Josh Bell seems like he changes teams every year. So they're still out there. Good big bats. Not heard anything yet on Gabriel Torres, Jorge Polanco out there still with a club option. I think that's true as well. Jorge Polanco. Yeah, I don't think he signed yet. So he definitely hadn't signed. I looked it up again. He hadn't signed yet. Brandon Drury, Whit Merrifield, they're backup options for somebody. They're probably not going to play as starters anywhere. Alex Bregman is getting a lot of interest, but I don't think the trigger has been pulled on him. He is far and away the best third baseman as well. I don't think the Astros bring him back. I think there's going to be a lot of interest in him. I got a kind of the feeling he signs in New York as well. Eugenio Suarez, I think good signing. I think they picked up the option with the D-backs, so he is going back there. J.D. Davis, I have at third. I didn't want to put like the same guys, who might play a different position at third. Last of the Yankees, not even with the Yankees, but Makana, Rosario, I think they're backup options for someone as well. Willie Haynes, huge contract with the Giants. Giants have been trying to get guys. They've been really trying. They've been really, and they finally got one. They got a guy 30 years old that's going to help them. They need offense out there in San Diego. They tried a couple years. They've really been trying to sort of. They tried a couple years ago to get Carlos Correa, so they're definitely getting a guy that can actually help them on offense, go in the middle of the lineup. Kim is probably not going to sign back with the Padres. Interesting to see what happens there as well. Is he going to play short? Is he going to play second? So Ames is signed. I think now he's going to be more interest in him as far as a target. Kyle Farmer went ahead and signed with the Rockies as well, signed a one-year deal. Rojas, Paul DeLong still out there as well. Options at shortstop. Oh, wow, Juan Soto. Um, Again, during the podcast, it's funny. He kind of stole my thunder. I was going to mention Reggie Jackson, the great Reggie Jackson. Like when I was little, Reggie was this great hitter, big mouth, cocky, great power hitter. And the guy he reminds me of is Juan Soto. I think Juan is exactly like Reggie Jackson 2.0. And he did the same thing Reggie would have done. Took the biggest paycheck. Reggie just didn't care who he was. He was a mercenary. And that's exactly what Soto did, signing with the Mets, broke the hearts of the Yankees, which I have absolutely no problem with. That's a lot of money, though. I mean, that is $756 million. He had two teams offer him $250 million, 51 million per undeferred. Insane. That's a lot of money. I would say far and away the best offensive player on the market, so that's what they get. Yeah, that's what it's going to cost you. Tasca Hernandez still out there. Haven't heard anything yet on him. Anthony Santander, it's over with the Orioles. So definitely thank Anthony. I think he was the longest tenured guy out there in free agency. Definitely looking for a new team. Hearing with the Blue Jays, he's looking for a new team because Tyler O'Neill is going to come to Baltimore. So the left fielder, I think it's 3 years, 48 million. I think 16.5 million per for Tyler O'Neill to sign. That he signed with the Orioles. So that's a lot of money. Mike Elias talked about it. I saw his interview with him again today. He said the right-handed bat. So a lot of lefties. Kerstead, Kowser, and Cedric are lefties. He wanted a right-handed bat in the outfield. I do think this means something for Kerstead. I don't necessarily buy the fact that this is going to be a platoon. I think people are saying that that's kind of what the management and the that's kind of a company line to me. You don't pay a guy $16 million and platoon him. Now, what they're going to say is, when asked about Kerstad, is, well, we're going to move these guys around. They're going to say that for sure. That might be true because it's certainly true during 162 games, but this is going to be your starter. This is going to get the guy. Now, it may be left. I don't know. Or right. They may move Cows to the right. I'm not sure yet. I would assume the hole's in right. He can play right. It's going to be right field. But I definitely believe that Tyler O'Neill is going to be the absolute starter in right field for the Orioles. Definitely not bringing back Anthony Santander. I don't think it'll be Kerstad either. I think Kerstad is going to be your fourth option. He'll play some, but it'll be your fourth option. Anthony Verdugo, still waiting on a deal. I haven't heard anything yet on Verdugo. I put Osuna there. I didn't have him there in the last graphic because what happened, I thought pretty much did happen. He did have an option. Braves picked it up. He went ahead and signed. Osuna was fantastic. He was definitely in the MVP conversation last year. JD Martinez, Jock Peterson, Ryan O'Hearn's option was picked up. So again, Orioles got a lot of options, got a lot of bats. Mike Elias, Brandon Hyde don't like to commit. This would have been a good opportunity. Actually let Ryan O'Hearn go. They wanted to keep him. They want him against the he only bats one side. It's one side anyway. So interesting to see. Ryan O'Hearn, Justin Turner, Andrew McCutchen still out there as well at DH. Burns, believe it or not, is the last maybe big name to sign. Rosushi Sasaki has just got posted at the winter meetings. So this is just going on. His contract is going to be huge. The biggest reason is look at the age. He's only 23 years old, Philly. Still really young. I don't know if that's right, but he's still really young. He may get a 10-year deal as well. A lot of teams are going to be looking at him. They lost Soto. The Yankees actually did go ahead and sign Max Fried to an 8-year deal. Blake Snell was the first to sign with the Dodgers as well, going in that really stacked rotation. Shane Bieber is going back to the Guardians. I got it wrong there. I got Indians and I got Guardians. Nathan Eovaldi, I know a lot of us were actually looking for him. He didn't sign with the Texans. He signed back with the Rangers in Texas, so he's going to actually go back. Jack Flaherty is still out there. Not as much interest in Flaherty as I thought. I think that's about right. He's second tier. They were talking about him. I saw a lot of stuff that he was first tier, and it's about right. Shane Manaea is still out there with the Mets. Michael Walker is another guy, another good fallback guy, I think, would have been there. The Royals were smart enough to keep him. Yashi Kikuchi signed last year was with the Blue Jays and with the Astros. Now the Angels went ahead and signed him. Max Scherzer is still out there. Samaki Sungo, I think, is out there also from Japan. Luis Severino, I do want to mention, signed a good contract with the A's. Now, ain't that nothing? You go ahead and sign the largest contract as soon as you leave Oakland on your way to Las Vegas at some point, I believe. The only one here I see that's been signed has been Clay Holmes. The fascinating part is he's another one to leap from Yankees to Mets. He's going to be in their rotation. That's something. That's a big surprise considering the fact that he was their closer. They took him out of the closer role, and so they're going to use him in the rotation apparently and leave because they got a lot of money to pay Diaz in the rotation at the end. So interesting to see what happens there, uh, getting that taken care of. All right. So what does it mean? Uh, the East is changing. Let's talk about a little bit about the East first. That's a big blow to the Yankees. I think the Yankees losing Soto, their offense took a big blow. They did sign Max Fried, which is going to help. Their rotation is still really good, so they're going to be in games, but that's a huge loss for them in the rotation. Blue Jays, I still don't know what's going on. Like, I think they made the talk of Santander, talk of Burns, talk of these guys. I don't know if they're trying to please the fans. I don't think they're going to re-sign Vladdy. So it'll be interesting to see. Rays kind of are where they are. They may make a pitcher signing, I think, but they kind of are in the same spot. They're going to be playing in a minor league stadium. So we'll see what's going on there. Red Sox, I think, signed Garrett Crochet today in trade. So they traded a bunch of minor leaguers to go ahead and get Garrett Crochet. Orioles, I know, had their eyes on him, but they actually stuck their neck out and actually made the trade for Crochet there as well. Interesting to see what happens with that. Orioles, I'm fine with the moves they made. I think but they haven't really moved the ball forward. So Burns is still there. I think we're all still hoping for that. I haven't heard the Giants is what I keep hearing, but we will see. I will come back if there was another video, if it is anything else to report there. But as of right now, I have not heard anything on Burns as of yet as well. Pitching, I think they're still going to need it, so they're definitely going to start looking at some of the pitching. Are you still looking at some starting pitching? Are you still looking at Sasaki? Burns is still out there. I don't think they'll sign Flaherty, but a Shane Mania, anything like that is out there. So we will see how the Orioles move forward on the hot stove. Let's go. Thank you very much for joining us here for the Raven Sports Podcast. Like and subscribe all of our social media content. Thank all the people that are in our comments section as well. Thank you guys for joining us here, and you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy all the games.